1-year-old. Hello, you lovely literate legends. I love every single one of you. Welcome to Books and Beer. We're 1-year-old as of today. And to celebrate, we have here the Goat Island Blood Orange. Why the Goat Island? Because it's the greatest of all taps. Indeed, the goat.
The goat.
And we've got some books for you today to recommend to pair with this lovely refreshment. Heather, why don't you start us off?
Yes, so Blood Orange, I went with the orange thing to start off, but instead of finding a title with orange in it, I found an author with an orange in it.
Mm-hmm.
My first book is There by Tommy Orange. I found this on, we have it in physical form, but it's got a holds list to my recollection. It's also on Overdrive. I listened to the audiobook, thought it was great. It's 12 individual story in the lead up to the big Oakland powwow in California.
Okay.
It focuses on the stories of urban Native Americans. So Native Americans who don't live on the reservations, they live in the city. It touches on stuff like struggles with identity and community and substance abuse and addiction, as well as poverty within the city as well.
Cool.
I really liked this book. It was very well written. It was actually a debut novel, and it just got a million accolades. And the author himself, Tommy Orange, he was a recent graduate of the Institute for Native American or American Indian Arts, I think is what the name is. Anyway,
very cool.
But he's an enrolled member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma. So, to a degree, I assume, part of this is talking about what he has studied and what he has experienced in his own lifetime. That is me making an assumption. But, yeah, I highly suggest it. Like I said, we have it in multiple forms. I did the audiobook because it's easy to listen to while you're driving.
Always a good selling point. When did this come out?
I want to say in 2019, 2018.
Okay, that
so
makes
very
sense.
recently. But it, again, had a holds list to begin with. It might still have a holds list. I don't think I found the physical form, so I got Overdrive.
Good enough.
Overdrive is the next best thing.
Well, let me ask you something, Heather. What do oranges, Quentin Tarantino, and the West have in common?
I don't know. Probably a lot of blood.
Pulp.
Pulp.
So,
should have known.
This is one that I found very recently. It was actually it was partially suggested to me by a coworker, Steven. Good looking out, buddy. This is a as you can see, it's a short story, but it is extremely captivating. I'm pretty sure I read this in like maybe half an hour because I just couldn't put it down. But so like our main character here. Imagine if a Clint Eastwood character became a playwright.
I mean, didn't Clint Eastwood write?
He did, but the...
I can imagine it very well then.
But imagine it like... Well, here's the thing. Our main character is a former train robber. He was a train robber in the Old West back in the 1890s, but this takes place in the 1930s, where he now lives in New York City and writes for Pulp magazines.
Cool.
Yes, very interesting story. And what I like about it is especially the narrator is very complex emotionally and morally, which you don't often get to this degree with Wild West heroes. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what? The Wild West train robber has feelings?
And a backstory?
And a backstory and existential concerns about the world that he's leaving to his loved ones?
Right? Surprising!
Like he's a little bit scared, like that somebody he loves might be left with nothing?
Oh, maybe that's why he's robbing trains.
Well, and, you know, by the end of it, he's robbing Nazis. Yeah, like, for you gamers out there, imagine, like, Red Dead Redemption kind of mixed with L.A. Noire, with just a hint, just a pinch of Wolfenstein. And you kind of got what we have here.
Huh. Might have to put that one on my holds list, too.
Good stuff.
Interesting. Well, we have our Goat Island brewed this time, so I have no more biting for Billy Goat.
Aww.
Billy Goat is the main character in this book, though he and his friends have an entire series.
Is his first name Billy and his last name Goat?
I think so.
Perfect.
That's how I interpreted. So Bernette Ford has an entire series based on him and his friends. This one is an adorable depiction of a kid, at school, and he bites his friends because he doesn't know how to communicate that he wants to join in a game or he doesn't understand the rules of the game.
Just like my cat.
Exactly. Cats and children. Basically the same thing. But I feel like my kid is about to go through this phase where he just starts biting kids at daycare, and I know a lot of parents get that. So I was like,
Get your shots, everybody.
Get your shots. This is a great little book to, maybe talk to your child about how to communicate with their friends.
Cool.
No more biting for Billy Goat.
Well, I can't say that my pick for goat is quite as wholesome. Because the main thing I associate goats with is being from hell. Yes. There's plenty of blood to go around here too, so it kind of fits the beer as well.
Perfect.
This collection is much bigger than my last one.
Ooh.
And this was written by none other than the Rasputin of the comics world himself, Alan Moore, of acclaim by the likes of Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Batman the Killing Joke, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
See, that sounds way better than how you initially presented it.
No, he just looks like Rasputin.
Oh, okay.
And he also practices magic.
Sure, do go on.
Because that's just, I think he worships a snake god too. But anyway, so this graphic novel tells the story of one Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And if you flip through it real quick, something I like about it, you can see this. I don't know if anybody out there can see it. But if you get a good look at the art here, you'll notice that it kind of looks like it was written, it was drawn by somebody who's teetering on the edge of sanity.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this being about Jack the Ripper, this obviously takes place in Victorian England. And I got to tell you, I don't know why people are so stoked on steampunk, because the Industrial Revolution just seems absolutely vile to me. What do we got here? We got royal family drama. We got like secret Masonic societies. We got pathological hatred of the poor. It's Victorian England all the way here.
Yeah.
Quite graphic. This is definitely an R-rated graphic novel. We've got here. There's a graphic sex scene in the first couple of pages, actually.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, but the art is very compelling, very haunting, and there's a lot of one of our main characters here is this really sinister character, this sinister doctor character who may or may not be the killer, and he likes to wax philosophical about, things like how, why men are destined to be in charge of society now, and stuff like that. Very interesting read.
Victorian England, indeed.
Yes,
Super
Victorian
fun.
England, indeed.
So, going from anti-feminist to somewhat more feminist, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a graphic novel series now. So Hoopla has a bunch of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer collections.
Yes.
I read volume 1. It's when she gets introduced to Sunnydale and starts making friends like Willow. And it does introduce a couple villains, some witches in particular. I never actually watched the show. Apparently these graphics follow pretty closely to the show and do some follow-up add-ons to some of the seasons as well. So if you're a Buffy fan...
Like a good additive experience.
Yeah. The images were interesting. It's like they were trying to stay close to the actors, but not too close to the actors, you know? They don't want to step on people as far as how far they look. But anyway, I thought it was great. I think if someone else was more of a Buffy fan than me, they would probably like it either way more or way less. Might be polarizing.
Okay.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
So, this was my blood book. My Buffy the Vampire.
Cool.
I did try to find a vampire romance, but then I was just like, I don't have time for this.
You'd spend days just sifting through the catalog.
Oh, yeah. Too much.
I'm not going to lie. My final pick didn't have as much thought put into it. I thought of the word blood, and I was like, okay, what goes with blood? Killing and dying.
Wow.
And yes. Really visceral pick. But this was also a book I had been meaning to read for a while, and I just decided to use this as an excuse, and I'm very glad I did. It is a really, really good book. However, do not make the mistake I did and read it at midnight when you can be alone with your own thoughts.
Aww.
Because it's just not quite depression porn. But what it is a graphic novel told in 6 stories. All of which are depressing in one way or another. But it goes through all kinds of things like themes of living up to your potential, themes of choosing the wrong people in your life, themes of remembering when times weren't as good as they are now and wondering how you got through it in the first place. It's
and you chose to read this voluntarily at like midnight?
Yes. I couldn't sleep, and then I couldn't sleep some more.
Excellent.
But yeah, it brought up a lot of feelings and thoughts that I thought had been out of my head for a while. Like I was looking like, how'd you get in here? I changed the locks.
Jeez. Get away, thoughts.
Like I came in the window. Be gone, thoughts. I don't know if we can put that in the video or not, but
we'll see for now.
You know, so especially the first story, real quick. Especially the first story. I think that's my favorite in the whole thing, although it's kind of maybe tied with the fifth because the fifth has to do with stand-up comedy, so that hit me on a real personal level.
Gotcha. But
the first story, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's kind of like you're watching somebody about to jump off a bridge, and at the very last second, it turns out they have a bungee rope. It's kind of really cathartic, actually.
Great.
Killing and dying, everybody.
There we go.
It's not just something that we all do.
Here.
I mean, we don't all kill. We all die, though.
We all die.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this has been
our
that. 1 year anniversary episode from Gold Sprint. It's a local coffee shop here in Huntsville. We'll be back for our next episode here. However, we're changing our format a little bit. This has been our 1 year anniversary. We've been happy on YouTube. But from now on, you can catch us on Instagram Reels and TikTok. Whew, I feel old. But we will still see you next time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We probably need a cut.